Hello, guys. Welcome to this interview. I got Sasha here. He's in London working on his direct dating summit, and even though he's busy as fuck, I know everything is super. You need to hustle right now, but thanks for taking time to do an interview here.
Always a pleasure to deal with my Scandinavian brethren.
All right. So tell us short about like for my followers who don't know who you already are, probably a lot of them do, but uh what's your story? How'd you end up in the place you're now? Like
I like vagina a lot. Okay, next question. No, I'm kidding.
I remember I met you in 2008 in the Real Mind conference, and we were walking towards you were talking, and then there was like a blockage from the road, and you were like, "Ah, an obstacle. Fuck, we have to turn and go back." I still remember that joke for some reason.
I
But
make
yeah,
I make a lot of silly jokes.
you do.
Some of them are shit. Some of them are quite good. So what happened? That's a very big question. What happened? How are you in this position? Um,
Just like the show notes, I want to know like, were women always attracted to you, or were you like a chump and
Women
then?
used to tie me up and try and kick me to death. I only survived because I have very strong ribs from my Russian ancestors. These are like rocks. No, I was always really not confident, very shy, and just didn't know what the fuck to do. And it's not so much I was shy; I could talk to people. I just didn't have any real balls, and I didn't. Had no idea how to behave around women or how to have any standards or how to stand up to women or how to assert myself. So I was just a real nice guy, where I just had
Yeah.
no fucking clue. I was too worried about upsetting anybody. I was too worried about upsetting a girl, trying to kiss her, or doing anything like that. So I just didn't do any of
Totally.
it. So I found out about that you could the community or whatever, the whole concept that you can get better at this. I figured out from Mystery back in 2000. No, what I'm saying, like 1998, something around there.
Wow.
Because we were friends in Canada. I was doing stand-up comedy. He was doing magic, so we kind of, became
Oh, so
friends.
that's where you met him.
Yeah. We met at like upstairs above a comedy club in Toronto around that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we hung out a lot. He was really good at magic. We had fun, but I always just thought it was weird, like doing magic tricks and doing all these weird routines. I was like, I remember saying to him once, dude, we should be able to just talk to women and get them that way. And he was like, no, fuck that. No, we're gonna do magic. We're sticking to what works. We're doing it, man. I was like, no, man, I don't want to do this. So that was a conversation we had, and it was fun. He was always had these things, I remember him running up to girls and being like, "This is the best one. This is the best one." You walk up to girls and you just go, "Did you know Elvis dyed his hair?" And I was like, "Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit if Elvis dyed his hair? That's not relevant to what's happening." And we'd always have these arguments, but the one I didn't like it. But the one thing I got from him was that I learned that, hey, if there's a girl over there and you don't know her and you want to meet her, you can go talk
Yeah.
to her, and that's the one
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
I got from it.
Just the
Um,
inspiration, right? Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's really the most important thing, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I didn't really do that stuff, and I still stuck with women. And then I went to become a stand-up comedian, which went pretty well. And then when I read the game in 2000, I think I read it in 2006.
Okay.
I got pissed off. I was like, "What? These guys, like he was always saying he was going to write this book," and I was like, "You're never going to write that book. You've been saying that for 6 months now. You're lazy." So then I was pissed. I'm like, "He's getting chicks, and these guys are all good, and I knew about this before these guys, and I still suck. This is bullshit." And I got really angry, and then also Mystery still owed me money, so that was also I was pissed off about that. You're getting book royalties here. Where's my fucking money, asshole? That was part of it. And then I decided to get good with women for revenge. That was I'm gonna show this guy. Actually, here's the funny thing. I never told anybody. One of my motivations was I thought if I get really good with women, people in the community will respect me, and then I'll be able to say to Mystery, listen, if you don't pay me back my money, I'm gonna tell everyone you're an asshole. Um, that was so I'm
No,
actually
but
in the community because of
that's actually
revenge. How good is that, right?
I know, but it's actually relevant. Imagine there's so many guys like trying to become good with women to show off to their friends, their guys to gain respect instead of like because of the actual women, because their love for women. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
it's true. But with me, it was both. I mean, I love women. I had a high sex drive. I really wanted to do it, but also I was like, maybe this will help. And then obviously when I started doing it, I didn't like clubs ever, so I think it's just a big fucking scam to make other people money. So I just went out on the street around 2000. I tried a little indirect stuff on the street in 2006. Didn't work. I just had these half-an-hour conversations with women who were like, why are you talking to us?" But then in 2007, I really started going out all the time, and I found out about Alan Roger Curry and other people who were doing direct stuff, and I just started, coming up to women and being like, "Yo, you're sexy. You're cute. What's your name? I like you. You have a great ass." And immediately, very fast, I started actually, I got laid within 3 months of Daygame. I got laid, and then I started dating other girls, and it just started to happen. And as if you become obsessed with something and you get really good, well, usually if you become obsessed, you will get really good. That's how you get mastery. You need a lot of time. And then people just wanted help, and I just taught a couple of guys, and then they told people, and then it kind of just happened. So I never really planned to do this as a job. It just kind of spiraled into this.
So perfect transition into like, did you start like, were you always direct, or did you start off trying to be indirect? And was that a big breakthrough? And talk about
Yeah,
like the difference.
like most guys, I was indirect for sure. Because I mean, I really remember struggling with it. It was such a burden. I remember the feeling of this guilt, like talking to a girl and feeling so guilty that I really want to fuck her, and the only reason I'm talking to her is because I want to fuck her, and I'm scared she finds out I want to fuck her. I mean, really, this was my reality for years up till I was like 27. I was always there. I remember being right when I read the game. I guess I was 26 or something like that, and I'm with my friend Matt, who we were best friends from when we were like 13, and it was just this horrible weight. Like, what if she finds out you want to stick your cock in her pussy, you dirty pervert? It was really horrible. And so once you start doing direct stuff, you just like it doesn't even matter if you get the girls or not. Who gives a shit? You just feel so liberated because you're not being a creepy pussy. You're just like, hey, you know what? I like you. What's your name? And you don't care if they tell you to fuck off because you feel like a man, because you don't feel like a sneaky motherfucker. So I don't understand how anyone could do anything but this, because it's like, why would you want to put yourself through that, trying to memorize shit, be an ass, just be a manipulative bastard, when you could just say, hey, you know what? I like your ass. You got a real sexy walk. Do you have a boyfriend? Or hey, you know what? I
Mm.
like you. Let me take you out for a date sometime. I know a place.
And also,
Whatever.
like being direct and true and honest builds your your self-esteem. There's a In Norway, confidence is translated into self-trust, kind of. So the more you do the things, you follow your heart, or you just being honest, the more you like kind of like trust yourself, right? Does that resonate?
That makes a lot of sense. Absolutely. And it's one of the things I tell people. It's like, it's not just about women. I mean, like, if you look at my videos that I've been doing recently, it's not about, hey, let's pick up chicks or have sex with girls. I don't even give a shit about having sex with lots of girls anymore. It's much deeper than that. Direct, it really is, as my friend James Marshall said, it's a way of life. It's just saying what you want, being honest with people. It makes life a lot easier. My policy is I never lie. Really, I just tell the truth, and that makes life a lot easier because I don't really have to worry about anyone ever saying, "Oh, you said this or you said that," and I just follow principles that I followed anyway in life, which is being honest and not screwing people over and doing and keeping my word. So that's stuff that for me is common sense. But when I started doing direct stuff with women, it really went with who I was as a person, which is just a good person who's just, if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm just not going to bullshit anybody. And it just makes sense if you're not a full of shit type of person, and you consider yourself if you consider yourself, ironically, if you really are a nice guy, which means you're not fucking with people, or you're being quite honest, you should be doing
Yeah.
direct, because that's
Yeah.
what it is. It's for people.
That's true. Kind of breaking up at the end there, but I think it's good now. Okay, so yeah, becoming like more assertive then, right? In all, and also yeah, direct, as you say. How do you? So I would think a lot of guys listening to this would think, all right, but Sasha just like, he doesn't give a fuck. So how, he has balls. He's on stand-up stages, and he like, how does someone who doesn't have the balls or the confidence gain the confidence to go up to girls and be direct?
So, well, the funny thing about me is, it's actually a great illustration of how being good with women, or having confidence with women, is completely separate than other things in life. Even when I was doing stand-up comedy, I would do comedy in front of like 400 people, and they would all love me and be like a superstar.
Okay.
But if I left that comedy club and I tried to talk to a girl, I wouldn't be able. I would be too scared to talk to her. And only if a girl came up to me after a show and was like, "Oh, you're so funny, ha ha," ha," then I'd be okay because I had this confidence based on this my show. But as soon as you took me out of that environment, I was shit. So it really is a separate type of confidence. Confidence with women is it's kind of its own thing. But as you improve that, I find you do get better at everything else. So the answer
Mm.
for me was I just sort of desensitized myself. I just went out and did so many approaches and got so many no's. I stopped caring. No didn't mean anything to me. And then eventually I started having fun with it. So I'd actually have fun getting rejected and just not just literally like, oh really, like pushing it, where girls eventually thought it was funny and I didn't care what they said. I really just got a really thick skin where I just really didn't give a shit. And then I started doing stuff on purpose where I would get rejected just to see how brutal it could be, and it was never that brutal. It just became a fun game.
Mm.
So based on those experiences, eventually I developed my own system where I actually break guys down and show them that actually there is no rejection and everything's just fun. And you really once you really start feeling good about yourself and you realize that everything you do is value, and every time you talk to someone you're offering value, and you feel good about yourself, rejection is no longer a part of your reality. And that's sort of my thing. But
Yeah.
for me, I went about it the really long way. I spent years talking to thousands of women. But for most guys, at this point, I do have the technology to take a few days and really rewire your brain into thinking actually, you don't care what people think. But it is really a core thing to work on. It's just your indifference, your ability to not be swayed by other people's opinions. I think that holds back. For most guys, that's their problem. It's like you care what people think. As soon as you stop caring what people think, you can do whatever you want.
Mm. Yes, I totally agree, man. I totally agree. So, what are some of the usual challenges, guys, who comes to your summit, and do you do boot camps, or do you have a team that does boot camps, or do you have live training?
I just took out my contact lens. Look, everybody, it's my contact lens. How gross! Um, so that was a whole bunch of questions. So
Oh, so my
the
question
summit.
is basically if like what are some of the most asked or the most usual problems guys come to you with?
Oh, okay. So God, let's think. So just guys who are too scared to talk to women altogether, which
Yeah.
obviously stems from caring what people think. Guys who don't know what to say, they don't know what to talk about. Guys who
Mm.
can talk, but they don't know how to actually connect with women. That's a big one. Um, some guys just freeze up. They just look at a girl and go, "Ah," and that's it.
Yeah.
And then some guys just have fucked up like beliefs. Like some short guy will think, well, I can't date any girl who's taller than me. But every girl's taller than them, so that's a problem. Um, or just other guys who have just general limiting beliefs. They just believe something that means that they have to be bad with women, and I have to kind of show them actually that's not true. And I just make them realize that, and I make them go out and talk to lots of girls and have good experiences, and then they wake up. So God, what else? I don't know. I'm too old. Girls don't like bald guys. Um,
Mm.
some guys just don't know how to flirt. They don't actually know how to flirt. They can't just say, hey, you're sexy, or I saw you checking me out just then, or hey, hey, do you like sexy Canadian guys with big dicks? Because you should. One of my guys, he was a little Indian guy, and he just had this thing that he didn't think he could get white girls, and I'm just like, all right, start coming up to girls and be like, hey, um, would you date an Indian guy? And if they say yes, you'd be like, awesome. How about next Friday? And if they say no, you go, you're a racist. You better
Yeah.
date me right now, or I'm calling the police. And then once they just start having fun with it and playing with it, suddenly they realize, oh, actually, wait a minute, these girls like me. It's okay. But everyone
Mm.
everyone has their own shit to deal with, and really what I try and do is figure out what that shit is, and
Mm.
then push you through it, make you realize it's not true, and make you have lots of fun and experiences talking to girls, and then suddenly you yourself are like, wait a minute, I can do whatever I want to. So,
Mm.
but yeah, every problem sometimes it's different, but the big ones are those ones there. Yeah.
So tell me what's happening. What are you doing with this direct dating summit?
So I had this crazy idea to do an event that would have the best direct guys in the world speaking, which is just guys who are all about being upfront, being honest, and not using any manipulations, routines, or bullshit
Yeah.
in seduction, if you want to call it seduction. Um, and yeah, and it was just this. I just decided I wanted to do it, and I had one in 2010. A lot of people came for that one. You were there,
Yep.
actually. That was cool. You actually sold some tickets to that, so I still appreciate that. That was cool.
It was a good event.
It
It
was
was
good.
a lot of fun. I actually met some of my today my best friend. I was still very good friends with today at that event. And also like I remember the speakers were there. You could ask them questions afterwards, and it was like a true immersion weekend. It was very good.
Okay, that's cool. I didn't realize you made friends from that weekend. Did you mean guys who were also from your country, or just guys in general?
Guys, like your some of your friends is still my who I became friends with and
Is
still
that,
are.
oh, is that when you met Andy and them guys?
Oh, I haven't met Andy before, but that's I was connecting more with Andy that weekend, and Dale I met
Oh,
there for the
right, right,
first
right.
time.
Okay,
So yeah,
that's cool. I didn't realize.
good good times.
Cool. Yeah, that was really fun. So yeah, anyway, I had this idea, and yeah, I just wanted to get this message out to the world of like, hey, you know what? You can get better with chicks, and you don't have to be full of shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was it. And it took 2.5 years to break even off the first event. I spent so much money on it, and then eventually I sold
Yep.
CDs, and then now it's like, okay, now I'm not losing the money anymore. But yeah,
Oh, tell me about
it was stupid. Sometimes when you're really passionate about something, you don't think, you just do it. And I did it, but I'm glad I did it. But I could have gone bankrupt actually, so it was a close
Oh,
call.
same. Like I have the exact same story, and we're both stupid arranging events in like the most expensive countries in the world, right?
Yeah.
Because it's so much more expensive than people would think, and trying to keep the tickets low and get as many people as possible. I talked to Steve Pavlina, and he's like, you can rent a venue in Las Vegas for like
$4.
yeah, like that's ridiculous. I'm like, why am I doing this? Yeah. Okay, so what are like the basic um what's the essence of the direct dating summit? Who like why do you want to go there? Like why do you what kind of needs does it fill, if you know what I mean? Who would want to go there and why, basically?
Right. I guess any guy who feels that they know deep down they should be getting chicks, but they
Yeah.
just don't know how to go about it, or they feel they're not really expressing themselves, or something is holding them back from being who they are, who they really are. A guy who is social and talks to girls and hooks up with girls, then you should come to this event, because it almost kind of it sort of deprograms all the bullshit that society puts into your head about what you're supposed to be. So and the message is, people don't realize it, but we're all controlled all the time. All the beliefs we have about be a gentleman, be nice to girls, buy girls drinks, take them for dinner and a movie, all this shit that actually doesn't get you laid at all and will just get you to spend money. That's basically what the system we live in. We're supposed to spend money, not get laid, and be frustrated, and then think that, all right, well, I'm going to go and go join a gym and spend and just go work out for 2 years and get really ripped, or I'm going to become a doctor or a lawyer, and then I'm going to get chicks. It's all fucking bullshit. It's all programming. And if you really look at all the messages in the movies and the ads, all the messages are the same. You need money to get chicks, or just be a nice guy, and just wait, and eventually you'll meet someone. It's all fucking bullshit. None of that stuff is true. You're not going to meet anybody unless you change and push yourself and actually do what you have to do to get better in your life. You're not going to do shit. You're not going to accomplish shit. You're not going to meet any fucking women. You're not going to do anything. You're just going to grow up and you're going to die fucking an old bitter man. That's the truth. You want the truth? That's the fucking truth. So this event is about get your shit together, start pushing your boundaries, start growing as a man, and start grow a pair of fucking balls and go and talk to some goddamn women and be honest about it. That's what this is about.
Hmm. I also feel like it's a perfect place to go if you've been in the community for a while, or I mean, if you've been in the community more than 6 months and you're not getting incredible results, then there's something wrong. There's something you need to change the angle and get the real the nitty gritty, if you know what I mean. So who's speaking there?
God, it's a crazy lineup. So it's your host Sasha Daygame, of course, and then we've got Alan Roger Curry, author of Mode One. He's literally considered the godfather of direct, period.
Yeah.
We've got Bad Boy, who's all the way from Croatia. He's very good at physical stuff and clubs and all this kind of shit. He's awesome too. We've got James Marshall. who's just a
Nice.
fantastic, really good friend of mine, and just a great seducer. And he's been with a lot of really hot chicks. And he's very good. We've got Johnny Saporno, who's the master of polyamory and multiple open relationships and being happy and all this kind of stuff. So anybody who's already having success and they have, a girlfriend or two and they want to kind of, take it further, he's got
Yeah.
some great stuff. Um, we have got other guys people don't know about. We've got my instructor Boris, who's German, who's very good, who's going to be talking potentially even in German. But I think he'll, if everyone's like, "What are you talking about?" It'll be in English. Very special guest Steve Pavlina. You know Steve.
Yeah.
He popped in as a special guest in Vegas, and he fucking did a great job. So I was like, "Dude, you got to come back." He's just a really well-known blogger, self-help kind of guru.
Yep.
He's pretty sweet. And then who else have we got? I think I'm forgetting somebody. No, I think that's it. So it's just and the speakers get to speak for longer as well. The main speakers get 2 hours, so they really get to get up there and really fucking rant and get everything into your head that they need to.
That's awesome, man. All the speakers gonna be there throughout the weekend, or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
are
As far as I
people?
know, they're hanging out. They're milling around, farting around.
Because that's like that's a huge thing for a lot of people to be able to like afterwards maybe sometimes ask a personal questions because these events tends to be you get to know the speakers personally and you get to ask personal speakers and just that being able to ask Steve Pavlina or John Zaporno or Alan about personal question can, about your
Problem.
challenge,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be worth it all.
You know
So
what? It's funny. I joked about this in 2010, but like it seemed like most of the event happened when the speakers weren't on the stage because like between
yeah.
breaks, at one point like Bad Boy had 30 guys around him, teaching stuff, and Alan was had all these guys around. So it's like in the breaks and the lunchtime, everyone is talking to everybody. And sometimes I literally had to break up a speaker who's talking to 30 guys because he had to
Mhm.
go on stage. I'm like, all right, guys, leave him alone. He's got to do his talk now. So much of
Yeah.
the event happened behind the scenes actually, which is very interesting.
Yeah, and also like just the value of connecting with like-minded people, connecting with people who are better than you in areas, and you automatically like start modeling people just by being around them, and that's just like one of the most underrated like benefits of going to an event like this. So I definitely recommend everyone who's like who see this to go to your event. It's in Berlin, is it?
Yeah, Berlin, end of April, April 27th, 28th. And
27th and 28th of April in Berlin, Germany.
yep.
I know there's cheap tickets from Norway, and I have a lot of following in Germany. So guys, definitely check this out. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Sasha, and good luck with everything. Good luck with the event, and say hi to everyone I know
That
there.
was the shortest interview ever. Usually it goes on forever, and I have to be like, listen, leave me alone. Let me say this. We added a special thing because people have friends and all this, and we want as many people to come as we can. So we made it if you buy a ticket before April 24th, you can bring a friend for free, which I did.
All right.
I did a special thing for the London one as well too. And you get a bunch of bonuses there. They're all there. And if you're listening to this and you can't make it, you can always fly to the one in New York City in July.
All right. All right, guys. So that's it for now, and you can click the button somewhere below or up somewhere here, and get to register and join the event. And yeah, take some action now. It's time to step up.
All right, peace out, guys.